I'm Scott Hansen, host of NFL Red Zone. Lowe's knows Sundays are for football. That's why we're here to help you get your next DIY project done, even when the clock isn't on your side. Whether that's a new Filtrete filter or Bosch and Cobalt power tools, Lowe's has everything you need to feel like the MVP of DIY. So get it done and earn your Sunday. Shop now, in-store and online. Lowe's, official partner of the NFL.
You're listening to the Cruise Tips TV Unplugged podcast. Today, we're hanging out with two amazing guests and friends, Sam and Brian from DCL Duo. If you love Disney Cruise Line, you are in for such a treat today. Sam and Brian have become go-to voices in the Disney cruising community, and they've built an awesome podcast and lots of other platforms. They've sailed on a ton of Disney ships, and they've even tried out a few other lines recently too. So we're going to chat about how they got started, what keeps them coming back to the sea, the different Disney ship classes, and their best tips for planning a magical Disney cruise. It's going to be a fun, casual chat. So grab your coffee or a cocktail and let's dive in. Welcome to Cruise Tips TV Unplugged. I'm your host, Sherry, and we invite you to join our cruise-loving family as we travel the world creating cruise videos and vlogs. In this podcast, we talk tips, tactics, and strategies to help you make every cruise your dream cruise. Sam and Brian, welcome to Cruise Tips TV Unplugged. You guys, I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And your intro is so kind because I think we aspire to be you when we grow up, Sherry. So,
Oh, well, thanks, guys. I appreciate it. And I so truly enjoy being on your podcast. We had a blast. And when we were on your show, we said, okay, that was amazing. We've got to do this again. So y'all coming over to our show. I'm a little worried, though, because we got a lot of catching up to do today. And I was like, okay, I've got to talk to them about the recent cruise experiences. And then I want to hear your origin story. And then we want to talk a little bit about the Disney, the ship classes and some tips. Yeah. So we'll do our best. But if we don't hit it all, we'll just have to do rain check and do it all again.
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
I love it. So where are you all joining us from today? Whereabouts in the U.S. are you?
We are in the greater Seattle, Washington area. So we live in a neighborhood called Kirkland outside of Seattle, home of Costco and the Kirkland brand. But yes, we're just across the water from Seattle.
Awesome. And I know that you all are busy working professionals. You are the corporate power couple. So thank you for making this time work. It's not always easy. You know, it's a labor of love for you guys and a passion project to do this. So I just want to say thank you so much for clearing your calendars for us.
Oh, you're so welcome. We're so happy to be with you, Sherry. Like you said, we had such a blast with you when you came on our show. We, of course, are so happy to be here. You have such a great audience. You have such great content, and we love following along with you. So we're just happy to share with you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So let's go back to the beginning before we talk about the recent cruises. I want to hear how you guys got started.
So I'm the one who usually has to tell this story. And I'll say for your listeners out there, if you really start to dive into our catalog, we actually did a really fun episode that we called our origin story with one of our guests, frequent guests, who is the self-proclaimed DCL villain. And so he came to our house and interviewed us, and it was just a blast. But this all started with kind of this harebrained idea I had probably in, I don't know, like the December timeframe of 2019. I had been a guest on a few Disney Cruise Line podcasts, and I'd been listening to a lot of the content in the community. And I came downstairs one day and told Sam, I said, I feel like we have a different perspective on some of this stuff, and it would be really fun if we started a podcast. And I sort of sold it to her as we have a special needs son. He's on the autism spectrum. He's doing great today, but he was a challenging kiddo when he was younger, and we decided, wouldn't it be great if we had something that we were doing together where we got to spend time together and talk about something that we really love to do. And so she was sold on it. I think Sam would tell you herself, she thought that it would last maybe a couple of months, maybe a year, and then we would let it go. And now we're here. We're on season 6 of the show, 580 podcasts later. And yeah, it's just been a crazy ride. It's grown into something I don't think either one of us anticipated. So.
Oh yeah, we never imagined. And of course, it was a fortuitous time to start a podcast about cruising because our first episode came out in, I don't know, March of 2020. And, nothing big happened in March of 2020. So yeah, but I think Brian's right. It was a way initially for us to connect over something that we both really have a passion for, that we both enjoy talking about. We have some interests overlap, but we have a lot of interests that are different from one another. And we, wanted something to connect over. And this is one of the things that we really connect over. And so it's I guess, forced time together. That sounds bad, but it's,
yeah.
When we're recording, multiple episodes every week, we put out 2 episodes every week, a live show usually and a recorded show. And so it gives us an opportunity to, connect with one another and share that passion. And it's been doing that for 6 years now. And the pandemic was of course, not a blessing for anyone in any sense, but kind of a blessing for the podcast in the sense of that we couldn't see people in person anyway. And so it became our social outlet to talk with people over, video chat platform or audio chat platform and record episodes. And I think it also helped us get a lot of guests that we might not otherwise have been able to get because they would have been busy, at media events and things like that. But because they were stuck home like we were, they were super happy to come on a show and talk about Disney.
Yeah. So as the show has evolved, you mentioned some of the guests. It's hard. I'm not asking you to pick favorites, but are there any of those interviews that you did or people that you had on the show that are just really memorable for the two of you that sometimes you talk about, you're like, that was such a great conversation?
Yes. I'm going to put my number one episode is we had a Coast Guard rescue swimmer. He's actually now a Coast Guard rescue instructor. And he's a listener of our show, friend of the show now. But he is, shout out to Kevin if you're listening. He came on the show to talk about rescue operations at sea, because there are people who get, lifted off of cruise ships for medical emergencies, evacuations, things like that. It was such an incredible episode. It wasn't really even about Disney cruising. Obviously, it was more about, rescue operations at sea and large ships, small ships, even no ships, right? But it was just such a cool episode and such a impactful, I think, thing to think about these people putting their own lives at risk to rescue others. And, got to give shout out to our service members, but these people are putting themselves in harm's way in order to save other people. I thought that might be my favorite episode.
That's crazy. I mean, yeah, you picture it. They're taking a Coast Guard helicopter out there. They're dropping down from a wire with potentially with a stretcher, retrieving someone, administering care to them. I mean, that's very high risk at times. I'm sure even plunging into freezing cold seas or dangerous, conditions. That's wild. Oh my goodness. Yeah. What about you, Brian? You have a different one?
So I will preface by saying one of the great joys of this show has been the community we've built around it and the listeners that we've gotten to have on as guests and met and made friendships with. And so I would say there's a whole category of shows of people that we've had on repeatedly that they're just fun people to know. And we look forward to hopefully sailing with some of them someday. And we've met a few on board. I think I will say one of my absolute favorite shows very, very early on in our catalog when we were just trying to cover content. And so we would invite authors, parks people, all kinds of people on. And I had read this book when I was a teenager living in Southern California and going to Disneyland called Mouse Tales by David Koenig. And I just on a whim kind of reached out to him on social media and was like, would you be interested in coming on the show and talking with us? And when he responded and said yes, because he's a fairly reclusive guy actually. Oh. And he said yes and came on the show. And I was just fanboying out the entire time about his books and, how he got into writing about Disney and all of this sort of stuff. So still stands out as one of my favorite shows just because I got to meet kind of a sort of personal celebrity for me.
Yeah, that's cool. And he pushed out of his comfort zone to do it a little bit there.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Amazing. You guys mentioned your son is on the autism spectrum. Have you done any shows about cruising with kids in that situation? Because our audience is always asking. Is such a unique challenge, and every kid is different too, right? They have different needs with sensory I don't want to say limitations, but sensory requirements and
Right, sensory sensitivities.
yeah.
Either sensory seeking or sensory avoidant behaviors,
Right.
things like that. Yeah, absolutely. We've done
Mhm.
several episodes on that, on with various people, with people who have. We've done ones with people who have kids with autism. We did a show recently with a family who has a child with autism and a child with Down syndrome, and challenges and how sort of Disney Cruise Line accommodates that.
Mhm.
We've done our own episodes about traveling with our son. We also did actually way back in our back catalog. We did an episode with an organization called Autism on the Seas.
Oh yeah.
That has worked with Disney in the past, but they mostly, I think, work with Royal, and they provide sort of travel agent services, but also like respite care on the ship. So for somebody with, it doesn't have to be someone with autism, but like someone who needs to be supervised that can't go into like a kids club, or maybe an adult with disabilities who needs to be supervised, they will kind of step in so that the other family members are able to go and do relaxing things or things that maybe don't include that family member the entire time. So that was a great episode as well.
That's really cool. So they actually travel with the families and they are trained to spend time with these folks and help the parents to have a little break, but also to probably for the kids to get the most out of the experience too, I would think.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
Exactly. And they do group cruises, or they
Mhm.
do sort of one-on-one kind of things from my understanding.
Oh, that's cool. They could kind of like act as a host, come along with the family.
Exactly.
That's really cool. All right, so I have to start talking about some of your cruises you've been up to. We got it. We got to
Last talk.
Yeah, we got to go there. So when was your last cruise? What ship were you on?
So we did Alaska
Mhm.
out of Vancouver on the Disney Wonder in late August, and exceeded all expectations for a cruise. It was amazing. We got off the ship and we have immediately announced to our audience that we're going to do it again in 2027, and we're going to make it an unofficial podcast cruise because our official one is next year. It's a river cruise. But it blew us away. We were the
Mhm.
beneficiaries of some of the best weather Alaska had seen in the season. So everything went off without a hitch. The days were gorgeous. The views were beautiful. So now we're sort of setting our expectations. If we do it in 2027, may not be that nice. And so,
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, we got to fly in a helicopter onto the Norris Glacier and go dog sledding with dogs. I mean, you couldn't have written a more perfect trip if it was like scripted as a Hollywood movie, right? It was such like everything, just as Brian said, went off without a hitch. We were in Ketchikan. We went on a bear excursion. We saw like 7 bears. Like it was just everything was perfect about this trip. Every excursion, all 3 excursions, actually 4 excursions, because we did a glacier boat on Glacier Day.
Mhm.
But yeah, it was just a fabulous, fabulous trip. We also stayed in a really bougie suite, which we've never, like, we have stayed in suite class before on Disney and on other lines. But this was a splurge. We stayed in the top level suite, which there's only 2 of on the Disney Wonder, because it's a smaller ship. It's only about 2,000 or 2,400 people on the Disney Wonder. That's the kind of their smallest ship. And so it's kind of hard to not really have an amazing time when you're staying at that level of suite with all that service and concierge lounge access and all that kind of stuff.
and
Yeah.
floor to ceiling windows just look out on the view
Oh,
of
yeah.
Alaska as we were sailing.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, I mean, you could just sit in the living room and
Balcony
just
that was the length of our
Yeah,
stateroom. Yeah.
amazing.
I was going to ask you guys if you spent a lot of time on the balcony, but you had both. You had like the panoramic window thing and a balcony.
Yeah, it was like the room takes up like the size of, I don't know how many actual staterooms. I want to say like 4 to 5 actual staterooms, but when you walk in the room, the entire back wall of it is just floor to ceiling windows, and then you can step out onto the
And the whole
balcony
thing
that's
is a
right there.
balcony.
I had a pair of electronic binoculars set up. I could just sit in the couch in the living room and kind of like try to spot wildlife and things like that. We spent tons of time on the balcony. It was unbelievable.
It was majestic.
And we got pictures with Mickey and Minnie in their Alaska wear, and with Donald and Daisy in their Alaska wear, and with Goofy and Pluto in their Alaska wear. So, I mean, I know that might sound silly to some people, but if you are a Disney lover, like you love taking pictures with characters and then getting them in like their special outfits. Whenever you go on sort of a certain themed cruises, you get like different outfits. And so it's how many different outfits can I get, of Minnie Mouse?
Yeah.
Can I get Minnie Mouse in her Alaska outfit, in her formal outfit, in her regular Captain Minnie outfit, in her generic cruise line outfit, right? Like you just want you want pictures of, her in every outfit.
That is amazing. Okay, so you had the bougie suite. You did amazing excursions. You had the cool character interactions. I think there's a lot of interest in this topic. Can you think of anything else that stood out on this Alaska cruise with Disney? Like, I know it's tough. Like, first, let me ask you this. Did you book all the excursions through Disney or did you do any external? Okay, so all through Disney. Did they seem like Disney, just next level amazing? Because I've heard that in Alaska and everywhere that Disney really like vets their excursion providers and holds them to a different standard. Did you experience that?
Yeah, Disney is known for like if you book through them, you're going to generally have a quality excursion. There are some exceptions I would put an asterisk on that we've gone to. But then if you provide Disney the feedback, that provider may not be on the list the next time around, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
I would say, it's interesting. It's a balance. Like we tend to book our excursions through Disney for ease, especially when we're sailing in concierge, which is what they call their suite classes. Basically, we just send an email to the shoreside team and tell them, here's what we want to do on board, and they just make it happen. And so you get first pick of all of these excursions. But we've also heard from people that go to Alaska. They're like, oh, we just ferret out who the Disney provider is and book with them directly and save a little money, and then we're on the the same excursion with a bunch of people wearing Disney stickers. So I think you can book outside of Disney and still have a really fabulous time. Now that helicopter excursion we did, like I think that was all Disney all day,
Okay.
Or for the most part. And so I think Disney does ferret out some really interesting excursions. I will say that there are times when we wish Disney did some things a little bit better with excursions. Like we sailed on Royal and did it was like an amazing race excursion in St. Thomas or something, which Disney would never offer because you're running around town, you're crossing streets with kids and stuff like that. And they just, they're very safety conscious, but it was a fun excursion. We had a blast as a family doing it. So I wouldn't say that Disney is the only name in town, but certainly if you're booking an excursion through Disney, you should expect a really high quality experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other reason we like to book direct is also just for the ease of knowing if a port stop is canceled, we're going to get refunded our port excursion. We don't have to worry about calling someone to cancel it from the ship. Like, we're in the middle of the ocean and we have to call, a third party or email them or have our travel agent do that and deal with that. And so if you have a change, if you're a late arrival or a port change, like Disney's communicating with all those vendors, we don't have to. And if anything goes wrong or part of the excursion has to get canceled, then Disney's refunding us our money. And so that's, it's just kind of that ease of not worrying about it. You're only dealing with Disney. You're not dealing with anybody else.
Yeah, I love that. So no stress, no worrying about it. If anything shifts, it's all handled for you. That is a big perk, though, of booking with a cruise line. The last thing you want is to have that like captain announcement at 10 p.m. the night before that says we're not going to St. Thomas, we're going for a day at sea, and then you're scrambling trying to find the email, it's a pain.
Exactly.
So,
We've done that on Royal and on Virgin as well. And even when we sailed Celebrity many years ago, we booked our excursions through the cruise line as well. So we don't discourage people from looking outside of the cruise line, but for us personally, that's where we just tend to go, even though we know we're paying a premium when we do that.
Yeah, maybe a little bit more, but the security is worth it. Was there anything in Alaska itself that really surprised you guys being your first trip up there, or that was just unexpected?
Sam's waiting for me to answer, I think.
I mean, you already said sunny weather because you're right. That was kind of like, that could be a wild card. You guys got really lucky.
Yeah, I mean, we got really lucky with the weather. I also think it was just, for me, the size of some of the ports. I don't know what I was expecting at times, but there were some that were like really small ports, really tiny one street ports. I think the thing that probably surprised me the most was the number of Diamonds International outlets they still have in Alaska.
Oh, right.
Because I was like, this feels like the Caribbean. It doesn't feel like it doesn't feel like Alaska when you're. And they would make jokes about it on tours. You'd be driving the bus down the street, and they're like, "Well, there's a jewelry store, and there's the jewelry store, and there's the bank to get the money to go to the jewelry store." So yeah.
Yeah, it can feel kind of funny that way. It is really similar. You walk off the street in Juneau, you walk off this you walk off the ship and onto the street, and it's all of those same big names, and the port shopping guides are always trying to kind of push you to the stores and everything. It's so true. So I think we lost Sam for a minute, but you and I, Brian, we're just going to keep going because I know she's going to come back. We're going to just roll. We're going to keep
get a chance to talk.
I know. I love it. So, what did your son think about Alaska?
He had a really great time in a way that I wasn't anticipating because so most of our cruises have been warm weather beach cruises, and frankly, I think we kind of prefer those cruises as a way to relax and get away from the hustle and bustle. And we've traveled, the only places we haven't traveled are really in Asia, and so we have traveled to Europe. We haven't gone to Africa, but we want to go to a safari there. But the one time we brought him to Europe, we did a river cruise for Christmas time, and it was go, 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 right? It was like, get off the ship early in the morning, get on a bus, go to some place, do a bunch of stuff. You're off the ship all day, you get back, you have dinner, and it exhausted him. And it exhausted him in a way that I think he kind of said, I enjoyed the trip, but it wasn't my favorite. This time around, I think he had just an absolute blast. Like, he looked forward to getting on the helicopter. He loved the sled dogs. We went did a gold panning, did a train ride out, and then we stopped at a gold panning site on the way back. He loved it. And so he had a blast. And I think he also has a blast on Disney because he loves the kids club experience. And so in a place like Alaska, it's like you go, 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 go. We get back on the ship and he's like, I'll see you later. I'm headed to Edge, which is the club between their Oceaneers youngest club and Vibe, which is the teen club. So he had a place to go afterwards to go have fun, play video games and whatnot.
Yeah.
So he had, I think Nathan loved just about every minute of that cruise. Yeah.
He loved. How old is he again, Brian?
He's 11. He'll be 12 next month.
That's a special and fun age though for cruising and experiences. I feel like there's a lot of character formation that can happen too at that age by taking kids around the world and learning that we're all in a lot of ways we're all the same, and I think it's very humbling and healthy for kids. But I could see how he would have gotten worn out in Europe because that's port intensive. Did you guys get to do Tokyo Disney while you were over there? I'm sorry, Paris, Disney Paris. Yeah. We'll do Tokyo later. I'm sending you guys messages here. You didn't even know. I was like, you mentioned Asia. I want you to take him there.
You're telling us all about Princess.
I know.
We did not make it to Disneyland Paris on that trip. We instead did the idiotic decision to, we own Disney Vacation Club points in Honolulu and at Aulani, and we decided we would fly from Budapest to Hawaii so that he would get a warm weather beach relaxing vacation for part of the holiday, and we got our river cruise. It was a mistake I will never again repeat for a bunch of reasons. But we are planning to try to hit Disneyland Paris next summer. We're going on a river cruise out of Amsterdam that goes through Belgium and the Netherlands, and we're hoping to sort of tag on to the beginning of that trip a quick stop at Disneyland Paris and to see Paris itself. So yeah.
Amazing. And is that the one you mentioned earlier in the show that's a podcast cruise? So it's a group cruise?
Correct.
With your community?
It's a group cruise.
That's cool.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
We decided we did our first group cruise 2 years ago now, Sam, about, I think, or maybe 18
Well,
months
it was
ago.
last year. It was 2024, but it was almost, it was June. So it was 18 months ago almost. Yeah.
Yeah. So we did a short little 3-night to be as inclusive of our community as we could possibly be. And we took them all to one of the early cruises on Lookout Key. And
on the Disney Magic, which is the original Disney Cruise Line ship, the first ship.
Yeah. And it's one of the crowning moments of this show because we got to record an episode of our show before kind of our live studio audience in Animator's Palette on Disney Cruise Line, which for anyone who's not familiar, Animator's Palette is like the OG Disney restaurant. It's on all of the classic ships. and it's just such an amazing place to be. And so it was a real treat to be able to like sit in front of our audience and like do the show live and do that. So it was amazing.
That is so cool. Unforgettable for you, unforgettable for them.
Yes, for sure.
I would have been freaking out about my audio quality. I'm like, okay, can we do this? Is it going to sound okay? Is there going to be background noise? Is my mic on? I applaud you guys for giving it a try. That's so
we
cool.
were lucky because it was during the day, so the space was completely empty. But yeah, the acoustics probably weren't like the best for recording a podcast, but it was just such a special like thing to be able to do. And so it really didn't matter that, maybe the acoustics, maybe the sound, the quality wasn't as good as our usual episodes, but I think people will forgive it because of where we were.
Yeah.
And Nathan was on the show, and he was actually like very like loquacious. He's usually like a one word or two when he doesn't come on the show too often, but occasionally he does. And that for that show, he actually talked quite a bit. It was really fun.
He surprised you.
Yeah,
that's fun.
Absolutely. Well, that's how kids are. They just always surprise you, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's good experience for him though too, having that community cruise and having the opportunity to be on the podcast, interacting with all these people, different walks of life, different forms of media. It's so cool. It'll be interesting to see what he ends up doing with his career one of these years.
He said several times he wants to be a YouTuber, and so we're trying to give him a backup career as like an engineer or something.
Yep.
So, yeah.
No, he says he wants to be a robotics engineer, but he did used to say he was going to be a YouTuber. That's what he wanted.
Yeah.
To be.
That's awesome. Robotics is great though. He can start that now, and then I feel like with YouTube too, no matter what first path you take, your backup career, your original career, whatever it may be, I feel like there's always a skill set that you can take over, right? For him, it might be the tech side of things. But then obviously he has cruising experience too. He's going to be really fortunate in that way. He could always do like travel stuff or robotic stuff or a combination of all of it.
Yeah. Sure. I mean, or we might have to change our name to the DCL trio and have him actually join the show. Aww, right.
Yeah.
We always like to call ourselves the DCL duo +1.
Yeah.
Because he's our +1.
Yeah.
So.
Oh my gosh. I love it. So you guys have you've cheated a little on Disney lately, I hear. So you branched out. What's been going on there? Tell us what you did this summer.
So this summer, we took our second voyage on Virgin Voyages. We did a 7-night cruise. Our first time on Virgin was the prior year, and we did only a 4-night cruise. Okay. Both of these cruises went to Bimini, which, the beach club at Bimini is their private island retreat. And then this went to a couple of other ports that we hadn't been to before. But we really just wanted to try a 7-night on Virgin Voyages because we felt like a 4-night was like a nice little taste, but we didn't feel like we really liked it, but we didn't feel like we really necessarily got it yet, right? Like we weren't sure if it was like, oh, we like this as a taste or this is going to be part of our cruising repertoire. Because I think you can have, and I know you, Sherry, sail on multiple lines. Like I don't think you have to exclusively sail on one line. I think you can have a line for different types of trips, different types of vacations. And a lot of them have different sort of specialties. And so it was, I got to say it was an amazing, Caribbean cruise. We took a couple of friends who we actually met cruising in 2019. We took them on it was their first Virgin Voyages sailing. And we just had a blast. Such a good time on that cruise.
Did you guys do a bougie suite on that one too?
We did. Well, we did the low end bougie, but we were mega rock stars.
Okay.
The lowest end mega rock star room. We tend to be people who spend our money on vacations. And so we're like, I want to step on this ship and have everything taken care of. Like, I just don't want to think about it anymore. We tell people it is entirely not necessary to have an enjoyable cruise on Virgin Voyages to go that way. But yeah, we had a great time.
When I think about the Rockstar Suites on Virgin, in my head, I think of a couple things. Obviously, the humongous balcony. And then I also think of like the liquor. I feel like they have like a liquor cabinet. Yes. Like it's like bottles of liquor, like Mad Men style with like a whole bar. And then I think about the record player. Like I think I've seen. So what is your favorite part of a bougie Virgin suite? Like what do you enjoy the most about it?
The hammock.
Oh, I know. It's like
darn hammock.
You could get that on a regular one, but it is everything.
I love it.
I'd also say one of the places where we criticize Disney quite a bit is in their concierge class, and the comparison of that to other cruise lines and what they offer in those ship within a ship experiences. It's sometimes far less, even half the price tag that Disney does. And the mega rockstar agents, or your rockstar agent on board when you're sailing in Rockstar, Mega Rockstar, they are unbelievable. And on Disney, you kind of share a set of concierge hosts who are in a lounge, and you can go to the lounge to get stuff taken care of. But our agent would like stop by the room. She'd find us at dinner. If you needed something, you just text her, and it was never no, I can't do that. It was like a done. Like you just get text back done. So it is unbelievable, the level of service that they've brought to that ship. And we've candidly heard that they may have poached several folks from Disney Cruise Line over to Virgin Voyages when they started the cruise line. So I'm sort of not surprised to see them really hammering the level of service.
Yeah. Well, and even our Rockstar agent, she like set up a little like happy hour in our suite for us one day. She asked us the day before, and she's like, "Oh, would you guys like to have your friends Tracy and Michael come over tomorrow afternoon and do like a little, snacks and happy hour type of thing? Tell us like what drinks you like, and we'll make sure we have all the liquor, the mixers, the the limes or the lemons or whatever the garnishes that you'll need." And it was, we came back to our suite, having been out and about on the ship, and there was this like beautiful like meat and cheese tray with like crackers and bread and all the accoutrements for on the bar. Like we already had the liquor that we needed, but all the mixers, like the sour mix, all that kind of stuff, so that you could make whatever cocktail you wanted. It was just like, that's the level of service that they have in at least in the Rockstar or Mega Rockstar category. And so that I will say that's one thing you can get some of that on Disney, but not all of that. They're not going to set up a bar for you in your room. And it's not going to be all included and all of that. That's just not there's no way of getting like all included liquor on Disney. That does not exist. They don't have drink packages like other cruise lines have. They do have a happy hour in the concierge lounge for when you can have, complimentary drinks, but it's limited hours and stuff like that. So it's not quite, it's a different style of cruising though.
Yeah, different style of
Voyages
cruising.
Is adults only.
Yeah.
Disney is not.
Exactly. So obviously we know the suite life is awesome on Virgin, but there's plenty of other reasons that draw you to Virgin. What do you love about it? Just for our audience in general, what brought you back for that second cruise?
People have said, and I agree with it, it's like Disney for adults. Like there's just all kinds of fun activities going on, but it's all adult geared and not racy by any means. Not everything.
Well, some of it's racy, but but most of it's not.
You don't have to do racy.
Right.
Correct.
But it's a party time kind of atmosphere. Cruise at your own speed, take advantage of as much or as little as you want. But just having activities that are geared more toward like an adult crowd that wants to have some fun.
Yeah.
As opposed to adults having fun with a kid crowd focused kind of set of entertainment.
Yeah.
And so Disney has some adult only entertainment in the evenings, but the deck party on Disney is going to be geared toward families. And if you're an adults only in cruising, you have fun,
right?
But it's not anywhere near like Scarlet Night on a Virgin Voyages cruise, or Sam also loved like we would get up in the morning, we would go do puzzles together, like word puzzles and stuff in the morning over coffee, and then they have a speed puzzling challenge. We're trying to put together a jigsaw puzzle.
So we did two, like every morning we basically would do two different kinds of like competition things. One was like these like word puzzles, and then one was like jigsaw puzzles. And and it was like just really I don't know, we were kind of nerdy like that. We liked to do those kinds of activities, and so we did that. I did like an 80s exercise class where we were using what is that weight thing, that shake weight?
Right. Yeah, that just doesn't look quite right, but it's funny. Did you take 80s clothes with you?
I absolutely did.
Of course you did.
I had
leg warmers.
I had leg warmers. I had a sweatband and the ones up for my wrists. I had like short Adidas shorts and a fluorescent colored tank top. Like I was ready for this 80s mixtape dance class, dance fitness class, I'll call it.
Yeah.
Well, and we ate one night in the restaurant on board called Gun Bay.
Oh, yes. The Korean barbecue.
So
I love that place.
It was great. It was so much fun. And like they do the little drinking game at the table so you can get to know everyone you're sitting with a little bit better. And it was just, I mean, it's fun, right? It's just fun. So, yeah.
It's hard to describe Virgin to people because I think they so easily do go down the raunchy. If you haven't been on it, you think, oh, it's like full on R-rated, but it really isn't. And someone described it to me one time as kind of being playful.
Mm-hmm.
And it's true, but it's not a juvenile kind of playful. It's what if adults were on a cruise ship and they didn't have to worry about their kids, other people's kids. There is a sense of playfulness that kind of takes you over in a weird way where you're like, you're
they do dodgeball games, right? Like they do
interesting.
like fun exercise classes. Like it's just fun and kind of hilarious. They do like great karaoke nights. Like it's not, I would agree, it's not raunchy. Are there maybe some people who are in the club till like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning and in kind of scantily clad? Sure. But that's not the majority of the people on board. No. The majority of the people are just normal people like the three of us.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah. What did you find the age demographic was on yours? Mine was honestly, I would say it was 45 and up on my 5-night Caribbean one. Did you guys happen to notice?
It was a bigger, I would say it was a range. Like we had there were people in their 20s. I'd say though it was mostly in like mid 30s and older, but I wouldn't say there were a lot of folks over 60. It was like probably rare, I would say the sweet spot is like 40s and 50s is like the majority, but there were a lot of people in their 30s and still quite a few in their 20s. So yeah, it's definitely, I think it skews younger than a lot of the comparable, luxury cruise lines that are not necessarily marketing towards families, right? Like a Princess or a Holland America for sure skews younger than those cruise lines.
Right.
I thought it was a nice mix. Brian and I are both in our 40s, and so we felt completely comfortable. We were socializing with people who were younger than us and people who were older than us and people who were probably the same age as us, and that was great.
Yeah. Okay, good. Well, I'm glad that you guys enjoyed it. I do think that Virgin should be on a lot more people's radar. It's a great cruise line. The ships are so interesting. They really are quite beautiful. I think sometimes you see pictures and you think, oh no, they're kind of sterile, they're IKEA-ish. And they really are. They really do have areas where they're lush and green and beautiful, like that back dock area. And the food is right. Like the food is so good and so different. So will you do another one?
Oh, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, our problem now is Disney's releasing new ships like every year until 2031.
This is not a problem, by the way. This is not at all a problem.
It's good problems. But like, so fitting in our love of Disney with some of these other cruise experiences that we want to have is going to be a little challenging over the coming years, because I'm a completionist, so I'm hoping to get on the maiden voyages of most of the new ships. I think the only one we'll miss is the Adventure, because she's over in Singapore.
Okay.
Maybe the Tokyo one too, because of the OLC ship that they're launching over there. But yeah, Virgin's definitely on our list. And now that they've got a ship that's going to be permanently on the West Coast, it'll be a little more convenient for us too. So
is that coming next year to Seattle? Is that right?
It's on its way.
Yeah. She landed in New York and they sold like a cruise that would take you all the way from New York through the Panama Canal up into Seattle. And then she's going to cruise in Alaska. But then they're talking about having her permanently based in Long Beach for kind of the remainder of the season. So I've been stalking the Virgin Voyages website for, we like to take our adult only trip in the summer when Nathan's at summer camp. So
right. That's right.
And so I'm like waiting for those cruises to open up in 2027 because I guarantee we will book another one. Yeah.
Yeah. That'll be nice. It's a smart time of year to cruise out of that area too, because even though it's hot cruising out of California, it's not like Miami hot in July. Yeah.
Yeah. For sure.
So I had thought about talking about the ship classes today, but we are not going to have enough time. So I'm wondering if you would be willing to come back and we could talk about the ship classes, the different classes, and what makes the newer ship stand out at another time? Do you think we could do that?
Sure.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Love that.
Because I still have more questions for you guys. I'm thinking a few more minutes. Is that all right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I want to just do some basic Disney planning tips because you guys know I've never been on a Disney cruise. It is not my area of expertise. What are like your top 3 tips for someone who's looking to book a Disney cruise for the first time? And it can be anything from getting the best value to choosing a room, picking a ship, anything you want to share.
I would say if you're booking a Disney cruise for the first time, don't sleep on the new ships that are coming out. Now, they are priced like new ships that are coming out, but they are offering some really, really interesting and unique experiences where Disney's pushing kind of the envelope of what happens on board as compared to some of the older ships in the fleet. And so my tip would be don't sleep on those. You will hear a lot of rancor in the Disney Cruise Line community of people who don't like the Wish class ships and how they're laid out. But we have found pretty consistently, if you've never sailed with Disney before and you get on one of these ships, like you love it. And frankly, there's
You don't care. You don't know any different.
And there's been a lot of converts from the older ships as well over to the new ships. And I will just put a quick plug in for the Destiny, who will be doing her maiden voyage in November. And some of the things that they're starting to light up on the Destiny look just unbelievable. So one of the big things, if you were at all following Disney and the Star Cruiser kind of experience that they had for a while, the Star Wars Hotel as it became known, and sort of a big flop in the Disney side of things. We experienced the Star Cruiser and actually really enjoyed it. And anyone who actually sailed on the Star Cruiser seems to have really enjoyed it, with few exceptions.
Sailed is in air quotes, by the way.
Oh,
I mean, it was an immersive.
It's an
experience.
immersive.
Yeah, it was an immersive space experience, right?
Okay.
So it felt like you were on a ship, like you sort of board.
You were on a starship. Yeah.
But one of the big things about that experience was these little character interactions, I'll call them. It was like dinner theater on steroids, where they had characters walking around. You could interact with them, and then they might give you a side mission or tell you to come meet them later in a specific area for a mission. And it sounds like they are importing some of that into the Destiny with the Marvel theming that it has, and that you might have these like interesting moments with characters. They might pull you aside and do some magic with you, or set you on. I don't know if they'll do missions, but there's these. We haven't seen it yet. We're hoping to experience it on the preview cruise here in 2 weeks, or 3 weeks. But they're going to do some things with characters that they really haven't done right now on Disney Cruise Line. Characters are, I'm here, take a photo, maybe shake my hand, I'll sign some autographs, like that kind of stuff. This is going to be much more of kind of an interactive back and forth with the characters. And so I think they pulled that from the Star Cruiser a little bit, and it's exciting to see it happening.
And it's mostly going to be with villains, actually. So like Dr. Facilier and Loki and Cruella de Vil. And okay, I'm going to give you my a top tip. Okay, so my tip to a new Disney cruiser would be, don't worry about pre-booking any activities. Your Castaway Club, you have no Castaway Club status, which is the loyalty status with Disney when you're a first-time cruiser. So you are in the last bucket of people to be able to book things like onboard experiences, like the adult-only restaurants, the drink tastings, and a few other sort of add-on activities that you could do on board. There is so much to do on a Disney cruise that costs nothing extra. There are trivias, there are game shows, there are character meet and greets, there are movies in the theater, but there are also movies on the pool deck. There is, of course, water slides and pools, right? Like there's
stage
shows, right? The best entertainment across any cruise line, bar none, is on the Walt Disney Theater, on Disney Cruise Line, on any of the ships. So there is so much to do. You do not need to do these add-on experiences. We see it all the time in the Facebook groups. Join your Facebook group. I'll give that as a side tip. But you'll see people complaining, oh, there was nothing left to book when my booking window opened, because it's tiered booking window. It's very different than the other cruise lines. It's different dates of when you can book. And you can find that information all online. It depends, obviously, on your status. But people are always complaining, oh, I couldn't book X, Y, and Z. You don't need to book X, Y, and Z. There is so much to do. The one caveat I will put out there is there's something called the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique that is for those little princes and princesses to get all dolled up as a prince or princess. And those reservations sometimes are really important to people. If you can't make one ahead of time, you can usually make one on board. If you do it on the first day, you can find a reservation time. So I just try to tell people, don't stress. You don't need to do these add-on experiences. There's plenty to do on board the ship for no extra money.
Right. Can they potentially do things ever open up once you're on the ship, or are they just like when they're gone, they're gone? Okay.
No, a lot of things are open up with the excursions are the one thing you kind of need to pre-book, and they may or may not open up. It's just if somebody cancels.
Okay.
Whereas other activities like the adult only dining, or some of there's some reserved character experiences. Some of that stuff they hold back some of the slots, and so once you're on the ship, you'd be able to book it through their app or at guest services. And so there are people who like stress about this pre-booking. That one, you can book potentially something on board, but two, you just don't need to. There's, like I said, there's just so many things to do, and then of course prioritizing, because there's a lot of FOMO to be had on, I think, on any cruise line with all the different activities. And now I'm someone who suffers from that. So I try to really prioritize. I guess I'll give that as my other tip. I'll jump in before Brian. I'll let him give one more.
Okay.
But I feel like just prioritize. If you've got like, I want to go do that, those one or two things per day, prioritize, because if you try and do everything, you'll end up disappointed in doing nothing.
Yeah.
And I would say to that point, overscheduling sometimes is not your friend on Disney Cruise Line, because then you miss out on some of the whimsical moments. Like you're walking through the atrium and there's something happening, or a character comes pops out of their door to head to their meet spot, and you get to walk with them or, interact.
Yeah,
with
they
them
grab your hand and they take you on a journey.
Yeah. So like those little moments only happen if you're just kind of like just wandering and not really, not really scheduled to be someplace. I'll be quick. My other tip then would be, if it's your first Disney cruise, I really encourage people to look at getting to one of the private islands. Castaway Cay and Lookout Cay are both just phenomenal places. There's a lot of rancor in the community about Lookout, but we have had fabulous time every time that we have gone to Lookout. In fact, we prefer it over Castaway in some ways. But if you're booking your first Disney cruise, I think it's really important to get that experience of being at one of their private islands. I think probably the bulk of the community would tell you try to book one that goes to Castaway. So with my prior tip and that, I would say head straight to the Disney Treasure for a 7-night Disney sailing that stops at Castaway, and you will have a fabulous time.
Yeah. And of course, listen to the DCL Duo, because we'll answer all of your myriad of questions about Disney Cruise Line.
And really, if you're doing 2 episodes a week and you have over 500 podcasts, that is an encyclopedia of amazing information. I love it.
Yes.
I was going to cover this.
Right away.
That's okay. So I was going to do this at the end, but since we're there, let's tell people where they can find you. What platforms are you on? And should they just search DCL Duo on each?
Yeah, the fastest way to find anything is to head to DCLDuo.com, because that links to, we are on every major podcast player out there. We're on YouTube, we're on Instagram, we're on Threads, we're on Facebook. We are DCL Duo, at DCL Duo everywhere except Instagram and Threads, where I always put this plug out. If you're out there listening and you have the DCL Duo handle, I'd love to hear from you, because I can't change our handle to it. It says it's taken, but I never see anyone using it. So we're DCL_Duo on those platforms. But just head to DCLDuo.com.
But if you search for us,
it comes up.
We're the only ones that will pop up.
Yeah. And your faces are right on the little circle on Instagram. I've seen it. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, and we got a lot of content out there, and I would say our shows really divide in 3 ways. They're either trip reports. We love to have people on to talk about cruises, so people don't have to listen to us and our opinions constantly. They can hear from others. In that category, we love first-time Disney cruisers, to interview them, to sort of re-experience the cruise line for the first time and hear what they think about it.
And hear what surprised them.
Yep. The other category of shows we love to do are topical shows. So like the one that Sam mentioned with the Coast Guard swimmer. We've had some disability focused shows, or we just did a show on Halloween on the High Seas, which is a special theme cruise that Disney offers during the Halloween season on some of its ships or most of its ships. And then the third type of episode that we love to do is we take people who've sailed Disney Cruise Line a bunch who then branch out and do something different. And we bring them on and we say, all right, you did it. Like you sailed Royal Caribbean for half the cost of a Disney cruise. How did you find it? Like where were the gaps? Where was Royal Caribbean better? Where was Disney better? And like, what would you recommend to people out there if they're looking to take a Royal Caribbean cruise or Virgin Voyages or Princess? I think we've done most of the major cruise lines at this point. So yeah.
I love it. That's a great breakdown. Very concise. Count on Brian for that, right? He's gonna here's what you need to know.
Count on me for concise. You can count on Brian for concise.
Hey, the variety is what makes you guys amazing. We love it. All right, so now it's time for the Cruise Tips TV Unplugged rapid fire round, because this is your first time on the show. So you got to say the first thing that comes to mind, no overthinking. And I'm going to alternate between the two of you. All right.
Love it.
I was going to ask you the cruise line you've sailed with the most, but I think we know the answer, Brian. Yeah?
Disney Cruise Line.
All right. Miss Bougie, suite, balcony, or inside?
Sweet.
Okay. Brian, first thing you do when you board a ship?
Oh, I got to unpack. I don't feel like I'm on vacation until I unpack. And then I'm like, I got the flip-flops
that's
on and I'm
true.
headed to
That's
the pool
him.
deck with a book and
Yeah.
you won't see me again for the rest of the
Oh,
cruise.
I love that. He didn't say the bar. He said the pool deck for with his book.
Yeah.
Well, and then he'll order a cocktail
Yeah.
at the bar on the pool deck.
But
so.
it's the book and the pool deck that come first.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's so good. All right, Sam, Caribbean or Alaska?
Ooh, Alaska. I fell in love.
Mhm.
Absolutely fell in love. I would have said Caribbean a month ago, but
Yeah.
Alaska.
And when
Or 2
we
months
lost your internet connection a little bit during the show earlier, we were talking about how much your son loved it too.
Oh, so much.
So cool. I love it. Okay, Brian, dream cruise destination.
Ooh, dream cruise destination, world cruise.
Oh, yeah.
I really like we did a 3 or 4 part series with 2 people who sailed on that Princess around the world cruise, and they would come on and
Royal.
kind of give us
Royal.
Royal,
Mhm.
and give us updates on the sailing. And every time they were on, I was like, God, I want to do this. It has to wait until retirement, but I'm like, I so just want to
Yeah.
just cruise a ship around the world and see all these ports that they got to experience.
Somehow I believe you that you will do this in retirement.
Oh,
I believe you.
yeah.
It's going to happen. All right, Sam.
Maybe the first thing I
Yeah.
do.
I know. Oh my gosh, you're gonna have your corporate retirement party, world cruise the next week.
There you
Right.
go.
Have
Still be
somebody
doing the podcast.
Yeah, you'll be doing the podcast, but you'll have to have someone come stay and house sit for however long. Oh my gosh, Sam, beer, wine, or cocktails? All of the above.
Not beer. Definitely
Yeah.
not beer. It's
Yep.
either cocktails or wine, and never beer. I actually hate beer.
Okay. That's
but
fair.
it's hard. I'd say cocktail probably.
Yeah.
But I do love me some bubbly as well. So
Oh yeah, a good glass of prosecco is always nice
Yeah.
too.
exactly.
I love it. Brian, best shore excursion you've ever done?
I'm going to go. It's a close one, but I got to say, off of our river cruise with Adventures by Disney, we did this thing, a salt mines tour outside of Salzburg. And I don't know what I expected, but it was not what I expected. And it was unbelievable. It was so much. Nathan had a blast. Sam and I had a blast. It was so fun. So if you're ever in Salzburg and you're looking for something to do, find the salt mine tour, because it is not what it sounds like.
That sounds
I can't
cool.
believe he didn't pick dog sledding though. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
I'm dog sledding.
No, that was fun. That's why it's a close
Yeah.
second. Also up there is that Norway helicopter tour we
Oh,
did over a
yeah.
glacier. So yeah.
This is the hardest question, because I feel like you have to have a favorite in every destination.
Yeah.
You know,
Absolutely.
it's true. Okay. I forgot where it was Sam's turn. One thing you want to see added to cruise ships. That's a hard one, huh?
That's a hard one. Just more Broadway shows.
There you go.
How about that?
That works. All right, Brian. When you're not cruising, you're blank. When I'm not.
Besides working.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Podcasting, right?
Yeah.
I think
Yeah. No, so I said book earlier. Really, what it would be is a pack of word puzzles and word games. I do those constantly. So like when we're on cruises, wherever, I've always got this like folder of puzzles and a pencil, and I will just plop down and have a drink and sit there and kind of figure it. So like I'm a big puzzle person. So that's what I do when I'm not cruising.
That's how you unplug and relax and like get over here from being in here, I bet, right? I was pointing to my head, by the way. No one would know. But I see what you mean. You need something to take you out of that like thought process.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it, you guys. We already got to talk about where everyone can find you. This was so much fun. I knew we would have a hard time even keeping it to 1 hour. So let's next time definitely go into deep Disney cruise nerd mode and do classes of ships, because I know there's a lot to talk about there, and we'll do the deep dive. Does that sound good?
Sounds great.
Awesome.
Appreciate you so much. To our awesome audience, thank you so very much for listening. Be sure to follow Brian and Sam everywhere at DCL Duo. And until next time, we'll see you on the high seas. Thanks for listening to Cruise Tips TV Unplugged. If you like our show and want to know more, check us out at CruiseTipsTV.com. You can also find us on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram by searching Cruise Tips TV. We'd love if you'd leave us a review wherever you're listening to this podcast, subscribe to the show, and tune in next week. Until next time, we'll see you on the high seas.